We got a couple more students. Got it. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll let everyone, there's a couple of students I think missing, so I'll just send them quick emails to get them into class. But I think without further ado, I think we will get on with our guest speaker today. So welcome everyone. I was just explaining before that today is a little bit different from usual. So our Friday afternoons are devoted to MAD, which is music, art and drama. But every so often an opportunity comes up to have a guest come and join us. And so it is my absolute privilege to introduce you to Tiéoulé today. And he's going to tell you a little bit more about his life and a little bit about the election.
Hey folks, I am going to try to provide you with information on Maya. I wasn't able to scout beforehand. But hey, Tiéoulé, a pleasure to talk to you. I'm not used to this type of crowd, which is a pity because judging by the interactions I've had with you for the past 2 minutes, I think that you have way more to offer on so many topics. So you know, I'm really happy to be talking to you today about the election, but for that, this is like brief intro. I came to Canada 15 years ago as a student, university student, never left, fell in love with the country. I knew nothing about Canadian politics. I had zero interest for Canadian politics, and now I earn a paycheck talking about Canadian politics, following Canadian politics, digesting Canadian politics. So yeah, I'm 35 years old. I'm in Ottawa. I have kids that are younger than you guys are. But yeah, I have a very, very basic, boring life as a lobbyist. And what we call a lobbyist is a person who is helping companies or organization fight for what they believe in Canada. So basically, let's say that climate change is really the...
Is it like...
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like a protest, right? Like a...
Kinda. I like your vibe. Like it's the same thing. It's not necessarily a protest, but it's more so if you really believe into something and you believe that the government has to do it. The government, they're not experts at everything. You cannot be an expert at everything. But what you do, you go to someone like me and you say, hey, this is what I want to do, help me do it. And we line up, we meet with people, the people that are voting the laws, so the members of parliament or the senators. We meet with groups that share the same beliefs. We also meet with people that don't share our ideas, and we have a conversation. We do not fight, obviously. We fight with our ideas and our words, but we do not. But at the goal is really to convince the people that are making the laws that this thing that we really believe in would be good for the entire country and should be voted to pass. But there's also the opposite. If you believe strongly that there is something going on that is very bad for the entire country or for populations within the country, and you believe that something needs to be done to stop it, you need to talk to the government and say, hey, this doesn't make sense. You can also use social media like Instagram or TikTok or like Facebook, Twitter, you name it, to really spread your message and make as much noise as possible, because the more noise you make, the more attention you're going to get, either from the government or from the media, from the population, like you guys, your folks, your friends. The much as like, if you can really make a buzz and make some noise about something you believe in, you have more chances of getting it. So that's what I do. And this is been, yeah, sorry. And in the does someone have a question?
I think it's
I think somebody's
a little bit
muted.
of background noise. Yeah, I think guys, if you keep yourselves on mute unless you're sharing, then it stops any background noise from coming through. So if you can all pop yourselves on, wonderful. Thank you.
So in the as you've probably seen with all the posters and the flyers and the signs, there's an election underway. And if you're forgotten by the elections, I'm going to forgive you because there's a very, very boring election. It's a very boring campaign. There's not a whole lot going on. And one of the reasons why this campaign is so boring is because we had just had a pandemic. And the pandemic changed everything. It changed the way we think, the way we buy stuff, the needs that we have. And it really showed what was really important. And it's also like, coming out of the pandemic, we need to think about what are we going to do for the future? And the future is you guys. What do you guys need? What is going to help you get what you want? What are the type of things that matter to you? And we're not talking about that. We're not talking to you. So that's one of the reasons why this campaign is very boring. We talk about a lot of stuff like Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, Aaron O'Toole, maybe you've heard about them. Paul Taylor, apparently, local celebrity. Like, we talk about topics that matter, but we forget I think that at times we've forgotten the big picture. And this is why we have a campaign that is not as exciting as it should be. It started in the summer. Like, usually in the summer, you want to enjoy time with your loved ones, your family and whatnot. Maya, you have a question?
Is there a marijuana group?
There is a marijuana. Oh, there is a marijuana group. Actually, there's a group about anything and everything. If you like wrestling, like, I'm a huge wrestling fan. You can make fun of me. Like, I've watched wrestling my entire life. WWE, AEW, you name it. There's a wrestling group that tries to make Canada a place where we could have cool wrestling shows. Same thing with basketball. Like, there are groups that are trying to bring an NBA team to another city. So we have a team in Toronto, but there are groups that want a team in Montreal, for example, or they want to bring back a team in Vancouver. We used to have a team in Vancouver, the Grizzlies. So you can, and that's what we call lobbying. You can lobby about virtually anything that is legal, and even illegal, because when marijuana was not legal, you can still lobby about making it legal. And it worked, because now it is legal.
Okay, because when my mom and I were going to the doctors, I heard on the news, I was partially sleeping, so I'm not really sure of it, but I thought I heard a marijuana group.
Yeah, there is a group about everything and anything. You can literally create a group about anything or anything. So. Cool. So yes, we have a campaign, and it's an important campaign, but unfortunately, people are not as interested. Again, it started in the middle of the summer. You have your family, you want to have some fun. You're not thinking about the future. You just want to relax. And yeah, the campaign is going to end on Monday. People that can vote, so adult Canadians that are going to head to the voting station and vote, or decide not to vote because they cannot choose between the different candidates. So to respond to the first question, and I like the fact that you're a lively group, is there a party that just parties with the other parties? Tricky question. So let me divide it up into, okay, so you have in Canada parties, and these parties, they're teams that are trying to be the government. You have the Liberal team. Right now, the leader of the Liberal team is Justin Trudeau, and he won the past 2 elections. And when you win the election, you become the prime minister of the country. So Trudeau has been the prime minister for 6 years now. And now there is a vote to basically decide if he's going to stay as the prime minister and the leader, or if his team is going to be replaced by another team. So that's the Liberal Party. Now, if you look at what the Liberal Party does, the Liberal Party is a party that believes that Canada is a good country, but Canada is doing some stuff wrong. And Canada needs to be more generous towards people that are struggling or people that don't have a voice. So if you look at society, you see that like people of color, some like life is more difficult.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the difference between a president and a prime minister?
Wow. So the very okay. So it's a great question. It depends on the system. We in Canada, we are a country that was once a British colony. So we're part of the United Kingdom. The Queen of England is still the Queen of Canada. So we have a system that is exactly the same as the system that they have in the UK. Other countries have that, Jamaica, Australia, you name it. But in the US, they broke away from that and they wanted a wholly different system. So they decided that they don't have a queen and a prime minister, they will have a president. And the president is going to be the strongest person in the country.
Is a dictator stronger than a president, or is a president stronger than a dictator?
I like it. It's different. So a dictator is a person who is in power, but came to power in a way that was not, it's not like the population didn't make that decision. The dictator came and said, I'm staying and I'm gonna do what I want and I'm not gonna listen to anyone. I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm only going to listen to people who think like me. That's a dictator. So you can be a president and a dictator. So you can win an election, become a president, and then become a dictator. Or you can just be a dictator on your own, coming out of the blue. Or, and that's obviously what I prefer, you can just be a politician who become a president, and then you preside. You are the president, and you listen to people, and you do things that the population wants and need.
So, a dictator doesn't have democracy, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
That is the key point. Democracy, because democracy means listening to the people, governing for the people. So if you govern for yourself, and if you have a majority, let's say there are 30 people in your room, and you're the president, and out of 30 people, 26 are telling you to do one thing, and only 4 are telling you to do another thing, and you decide to do what the 4 people wanted, that's not really fair, is it?
okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so going back to the election that we're going to have in Canada, you have the Liberal Party, Justin Trudeau, that's his team. They're the red team, call them the red team. And they usually, so they wear the red colors, and they basically have a vision of society where the government needs to help people that are struggling. And the government needs to take the money and help as much people as possible. It needs to, and especially the people that don't really have a voice. And they also believe that we need to do a bit more in terms of climate change. They also believe that we need to do a bit more in terms of affordability and making sure that people can afford stuff, blah, 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 blah. Then you have the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party, they look at, when I said that the Liberals, they look at our past and they want to make society better. The Conservative Party also wants to do the same, but also believe that our past is not that bad. And there are elements of our past that we should be okay promoting. And again, it's a party that has been in power for a long time, and they believe that the best way for people to be happy is for the government to be smaller and for people to basically be more in charge of what they want to do instead of having the government try to decide with them what would be best. They're the blue team. Then you have the orange team, which is the NDP, which is a party that believes that we can do, the government needs to do more all the time. So basically, you take one issue, the government needs to do way more help for virtually all the people in Canada. You need more, and you need a government that is going to take money and do more with that money. And then you have another party, that the Bloc Québécois, that's very interesting to you guys, because that's a party that doesn't want to be the team for Canada. They want Quebec, which is a province, much like Ontario, your province. They want Quebec to not be a province. They want Quebec to separate from Canada and become a different country. And everything they do, they say, we want to make sure that what Canada does doesn't hurt Quebec in case Quebec becomes a country one day. And then you have the Green Party, the Green Team. And the Green Team, they're all about the environment. They care about a whole lot of, they care about other things, but they really care about the environment, and they see climate change. They see, they want the planet to be more sustainable, and they want to make sure that we take a better care of our planet. So these are the 5 teams that are competing. Sorry?
I have a question. So does like the prime minister like not own, but like does the prime minister rule Canada, or does it only rule like Toronto or Ontario?
It rules Canada, but when you rule Canada, there are things you can do, and there are things you cannot do. So it's not because you're the prime minister that you have a free pass and you can do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't work like that. You have laws to follow. There are things you cannot do. There are things you can do. And at any point, you have parliament. So the members, the people that we vote for, who can, that are voting the laws, who can say, hey, we don't want you to do that. They can vote against what you're trying to do. And then the prime minister will have to say, okay, back off now. I'm not going to do it. Maya, you have a question?
So the prime minister, so someone is like more powerful than the prime minister?
The people, us, we are more powerful than the prime minister.
Oh, I thought
All
the
of
prime minister was more powerful than
No,
us.
no. I mean, he has more authority, but all of us together, we're definitely stronger than the prime minister.
Okay, so what's the difference between a prime minister and a government? So does the government also rule Canada? Or?
Yeah, but they're the prime minister's team. So basically, when you're prime minister, it's like the freaking Avengers. Like you are like Captain America or Iron Man. You have a bunch of people around you. That's your team. That's the government, and you govern together. But you have to make sure that people are agreeing with what you want to do. Maya, I see you have your hand raised, virtually and literally.
So my question is, so you talked about that a lot of the Liberty, the Red Party, they want to help people, but I want to know about like, what are you going to do with the homeless people? Because I know like in my house, like right across my street, there's like homeless people in tents. And I remember in Alexander Park, there are like a bunch of tents there, homeless people living there, like kind of a thing, like why did you kind of move them? Like, and I also saw like some pictures, my mom showed me some pictures on Facebook of people moving the homeless people, and it kind of looked a little aggressive, kind of a thing.
I agree. First of all, that is a shame, because Canada is a G7 country. Do you know what a G7 country is? A G7 country, the G7 is the 7 richest countries in the world. So we are a rich country. And a rich country should be taking care of its own. You, me, neighbors, people we don't even know, we should be comfortable in a country like Canada because there is money around to make sure that we are comfortable. So I do agree with you that having homeless people, especially in a country like ours. Like, you know how cold it gets in Canada, right? We have the snow, we have the wind. These are not conditions for people to be living in the streets. So we want to make sure that I totally agree with you. And what I can tell you is that all parties that are currently competing, because like an election is like a competition. You're trying to become the next government, and you're convincing people like me, like you, that my team is the best team to be the government of Canada. When you do that, when you look at what they're promising to do, they all see the situation. It is more, unfortunately, more complex than we sometimes believe, but they all see the situation, and they've all, like, whichever government we're going to choose is going to look at the situation and try to make it better.
And how are they going to try to
Regardless of the color of the team. Sorry?
And how are they going to try to make it better?
I think that what you do is, I'm not a politician. I'm not. So I think that one way to do so is to make housing less expensive, and to make sure that people can find jobs, because if you can find a job and housing is less expensive.
Also, it's
pay-
kind of,
Yeah.
also I wanted to point out that it's kind of, being a homeless person, it's kind of hard to get a job, and also
But
to, because a lot of people have mental health.
so what do? You treat mental health? You offer mental health
Yeah, I know
support?
a lot of homeless people, they really don't want to take that. Like, I know, like, most people just want to stay outside because they want to, like, stay outside from, like, I guess.
I mean, maybe it could be true in some instances. Maybe sometimes when you've been in a difficult situation for a long time, it is difficult to ask for help. You know, at the end, I think that it's tough to really determine why they're in such situation. But the one thing we have to do as a society is always to show empathy, to show that to never make fun of the situation, to see the situation for what it is, which is, it is sad, and we could do better, and we should try to do better.
Great questions, Maya. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
Does anyone else have any questions about the election or about Canadian politics in general?
I have a question. Like, when being like what do you call your job?
A lobbyist.
Well, being a lobbyist, can you vote or you're not allowed?
I can absolutely vote, but there are rules. For example, if the person I vote for become a member of parliament, I can never talk to this person about my job.
Oh,
It's like a separation. So I can vote for whoever I want, but if I help that person get elected, which is something I can do, I need to make sure that I never speak about my job with that person.
okay. I have another question. Can you tell us who you're gonna vote for?
That is, you know what? Voting is a secret. But what I'm going to, like, you know what? I'm still going to entertain your question because it is a good one and you're bold, and I like it. I'm going to vote for the political party who is going to do the things I'm going to list. And then you can play the guessing game, and I'm not going to give you my answer, but I will let you do the guessing game. I will vote for the political party who is going to make sure that we can get healthcare. That is like the party that does the most for healthcare. I'm going to talk to the political, I'm going to vote for a political party that is going to make sure that we pay less for housing, for houses, apartments, condos. Like, I'm also going to vote for a political party who is going to give more opportunities for people that don't have opportunities, because this is something that matters to me. Like, again, I came to Canada 15 years ago. I had to fight. Sometimes it wasn't easy. And I don't want other people to go through that exact same route. I think that we're strong enough as a country to make it easier for all of us. I'm also going to vote for parties that are going to do some things about weapons. I don't know what's your stance on that, but that is my stance. And yeah, these are things that matters to me. Sorry?
Why
I have a
weapon?
question.
Yeah.
So how do you like enter the vote? Like if you want someone to vote for you as a prime minister, how would you enter it?
So it's just a form. It's just like you have to, like, it's a paper with a lot of questions. You need to tick a few boxes, put in your name, and then voila. But then you have to make sure that your party wants you. You know, like, but
You gotta,
usually,
like make it interesting and people want to choose you.
yeah. I mean, you need to explain to your team why you want to be prime. Why within your entire team you would be the best person to be the prime minister. And then when they agree that you're the best person, you sign the paper, and then you become the leader of your color. You become the leader of the red team, the orange team, blue team, green team, light blue team, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Can you vote more than twice?
No, you have one person, one vote.
I have a question.
So basically you show up and you have on the paper the list of all your candidates. So what you do, you take a box, you tick the box with the name of the candidate you want to win, and then you put it in a box. And once all of us in a district, in a street have voted, you have people that open the box to see who voted. But the vote is anonymous. When you vote, people will never know who you personally voted for.
Unless you ask them.
But they're not supposed to tell you while in the room
when you go in.
Yeah, I mean, after you can have conversations and say, I voted for so and so. You don't have to, but you can.
And also, like, you have to vote the person that's in your community. Like, if I live on Roncesvalles, I have to vote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the example you use with Paul Taylor is not Jagmeet Singh. Jagmeet Singh is the leader of the orange team, but Paul Taylor is a member of the orange team for a sector, for a sector of the city, a district. So you vote for, if you like him, you can vote for him. And if he wins, he's going to come to Ottawa to represent his community in Ottawa. So basically for an election, Canada is divided into 338 addresses or streets or environments. And you need one representative for each 338 boroughs.
Great. Martin, did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
Yeah. So does the government change or does it stay the same? And it, like, to enter, like, can you like vote for a government or a judge?
No. So yes, government changes. So right now, Trudeau is the chief of government, right? So if his team loses the election, Trudeau is not going to stay as leader of the government. He's going to leave.
So then he returns back to a normal citizen.
He can be, I mean, he can sit in parliament, but he's not the prime minister. He's not making all the big decisions anymore.
Okay.
Good question, Martin. Does anybody else have any questions that they'd like to ask? I know we've had some really good contributions. Anyone who's maybe not had the chance to speak up yet today? Maya, I know you're so good at asking questions. So let's see if there's anyone who's a little bit quieter today who might have one that they want to ask.
I have a question.
Martin, I know you're burning with questions.
My grandma kind of told me to ask a question.
Oh, Maya, can you Can you do me a favor? Can you pop it in the chat for me? And then if nobody else has a question, we will come to that question.
Oh,
I just
okay.
want to see if anyone who's been a little bit quieter today might want to know anything. Maya G and Alex. So Maya G, I can see you first, and then Alex, perhaps we can have your question afterwards.
Can we play the guessing game now?
I think we
I guess-
just did. I think we just did. So the game was based upon what I was telling you I liked. You had to guess who I would be voting for.
I guess the marijuana party.
Nah, sorry. Nah.
Good question, Maya. You'll have to do some research and see if you can remember the things that Tiéoulé said about what was really important
Political
to him.
party.
We'll come back to it. Alex, did you have a question? And then Arya, I've seen your hands up. We'll come to you after. Alex, what's your question?
When are we gonna do work and stuff and anything?
Sorry, Alex, could you say that again?
When are we gonna do work?
So this is it's a guest speaker session. So usually on Fridays we have music, art and drama, but often it's a time for us to have guest speakers come in. Martin, I know you're burning with
By
questions.
the way, I just put my question in the chat so you can see it.
Okay, great. Okay.
That's my grounds question.
Are
Okay,
we
we'll come-
voting for the PM or the premier of the province, I guess?
Turn off.
So
Was
right
that your
now,
question, Maya?
Yeah, that was my grandma's question.
so right now, you can tell your grandma that right now
She's right beside me.
right now we're not voting for Canada. We're not voting for Ontario. We're voting for Canada. So not only Ontario is voting, but British Columbia, Quebec, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, you name it. So, but you never vote for the prime minister. You vote for the candidates you vote for the candidate who represents the team you like. And the team with the most victories is going to, the leader of that team is going to become the prime minister. That's how we vote. And using your example, if for example, a lot of people from Paul Taylor's team get elected and they have more seats at the table than the red team or the blue team, whatever, then the leader of the orange team, which is Paul Taylor's team, Jagmeet Singh, is going to become the Prime Minister of Canada.
Okay, good,
Oh,
good
okay.
question. Good question, Maya's grandma. Arya, you have a question?
Is Justin Trudeau a good guy or a bad guy?
Whoa.
He's a good guy. I met him at MJKO.
Cool.
Can't really say that, kind of.
I mean, I think
But-
okay, I'm gonna say two things. First of all, when you're the leader of Canada, it's a tough job. It's a tough job. You're making a lot of decisions that are very difficult for a lot of people. Now, if you ask me personally, I like Trudeau. It's not bad. It's not mean. And I think that he cares about people. And I think that when you're in politics, you really have to care about people. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But
No one's perfect.
sorry?
No one's
No one's
perfect,
perfect,
Martin.
and
said.
nothing's perfect.
Exactly. And I think
And
that
it doesn't have to be perfect.
exactly. And I hope you remember it when you run for office someday.
Okay, Martin, I know you've put a question in the chat and we're going to come back to that 1 second. I think, Auric, did you have your hand up? Would you like to ask a question?
Yes. So my question is, all right, do you think Quebec will ever become a country?
Whoa! That's a great question. That is a great question. Whoa! I was not expecting that.
I didn't hear the question.
So will Quebec ever become a country? So full disclosure, I live on the Quebec side because I live in Gatineau. So I cross the bridge every day to get to Ottawa, which is in Ontario. So do I believe that Quebec is going to be a country someday? I could be wrong, but I don't think so, because there's an entire new generation of people like you who see like in Quebec, who don't see the point in having a country. They're very happy going on with their lives.
I
They're-
thought Quebec was a province, though.
Yeah, Quebec is a province, much like Ontario is a province. But now, but his question, or Auric's question, was about Quebec becoming a country. It could happen. I don't know. But if I had to give my opinion, I don't see it, because I think that the Quebec population has changed. I think that they're happy being the way they are. They just want to make sure that people can still speak French in Quebec, that the French language is still very present, very important. But no, I don't see it. But I could be wrong. So I'm not betting any money on it. Not that you should bet any money on anything. I'm just saying I do not know. But if I had to guess, I don't think so.
Good question, Auric. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a
that was
proper
a great
grilling.
Mhm.
Martin, I know you've asked a question. He's
I
written
also
in
have questions too.
I know, Maya, we'll come to you. You guys are full of questions. It's wonderful. Martin's asked in the chat, is he old enough to go inside the voting area with his mum, or like are like underage people prohibited from entering?
No, they are, but maybe there's a different protocol because of COVID. But usually you can absolutely vote. You can absolutely go with the person who is voting. But now with COVID, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there's different sets of rules because, again, like times are different nowadays.
Okay, thanks for the information.
Anytime.
Okay, Maya, I know you got a question. We're going to come back to your question in a second. I
Okay.
just want to see if there's anyone else in the group who maybe has a question and hasn't had the opportunity to ask it yet.
Maya G has her hand up.
Maya G?
I think I'm still playing the guessing game, so I think it's political.
Yeah, it is political.
Yeah, I knew it too.
But which team am I going to pick? Like, I need to vote on Monday. So who am I gonna vote for?
Green Party.
It's
Trudeau.
Green Party.
the orange.
Green Party because environment is the most important thing.
Red.
Because without the Green Party, we're basically all dead, basically. So if people don't
the
vote Green Party, it's
Wait,
Quite grim.
system?
Right?
So you'll all have to do your research this weekend and look at what each party stands for, and maybe we could have maybe on Monday we could have a Park Street election and see everyone could have a vote and see if Park Street were the entire
president.
How about I come back at some point and
We're
tell you
under-
who I voted for?
Vote, though. We cannot
Yeah.
vote.
Vote Orange
know.
2021.
It's time. Trust me, you'll be hit with all the hard questions in no time. It will be your turn. You'll see.
Any
I have
other
a question.
questions?
Maya said in the chat, where's the recording so I can make notes?
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I need to make notes. I was unprepared for how complex this was gonna be.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can make sure that you get a copy of the recording. That's no problem. And any
Yay.
questions, if there's anything that comes up, you can always email us and we can sort of help you navigate any of the complexities. Because politics is
I have one
complicated.
question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you ever think that we are going to like ever not be part of the royal family?
Oh, Canada breaking away from the UK?
Yeah.
Oh, Canada, hey.
I hope we stay part of the Britons.
Whoa!
I like being part of the cup of tea clan.
The cup of tea clan.
Wow.
I like being British. Cup of tea in the
British.
morning, play badminton, a
Maya,
trumpet.
to answer your question, Maya, I don't know, because most Canadians they're okay with the royal family. They're happy being the way they are. The only province in Canada who wants to break away from the royal family, do you know which province it is?
Quebec.
It is Quebec.
Why? But why is it Quebec?
Well, the British also have a lot to answer for. Speaking as a Brit as well, we have a lot that we have not done very well. You know, Brits have a really dark history of colonizing land. So I think.
And I don't think the Frenchies,
Sam,
I don't
you
think the Baguette land has the best of friends with the tea land.
Yeah, the
Sam,
French and the British have a historic relationship of conflict.
Yeah. Oh, and I see in the chat that we're not voting colors. Absolutely, you're voting for a team. You're voting for a party. It's just that each team has a different color, so it's easier to remember it, and you will see it on the signs. You look at the signs in your neighborhood, you see that each team has a different color.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? And yeah, not voting colors. Great. Excellent. Just reading what you've put in the chat. I can't keep up with all this text lingo. Thank you for telling me. I didn't know what WDYM meant either.
Question, come here again.
Oh, Theodora's got a question.
What does the IDK mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, it means I don't know.
Good. Okay, so I think we're close to kind of wrapping up. Pardon?
Sam,
Yeah.
I have a question, Sam.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to come back to you, Martin. And Oric's going to have one question, and then Martin, we're up to you.
Are we gonna have a Park Street class president election?
Park Street class. We could do that. We could talk about elections and have a Park Street mini election, couldn't we? That would be good. Martin?
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
Oh, right. Are you from London?
No, they mean you, Sam, or me?
I don't know, Martin.
Oh,
do you mean me or Tiéoulé?
Yeah, Sam, you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from England. I'm not from London, but before I moved to Canada, I moved to Canada in September 2019. But I am British, but from the north of England, not London.
I also have a quick question. Oh, wait, how do you pronounce your name? I actually don't know how to pronounce your name.
That's a good
Sam.
question, Maya.
Yeah, no, I have two questions. I just want to know how to pronounce his name.
Not me. Tiéoulé. Do you know what it means?
Nope.
No.
Red man.
What?
Red man.
Red
Red
man.
man.
Yeah.
Man?
So that
Oh,
means
so
you're gonna vote for the red party.
We've been talking a lot about names in class and how it's really important to learn to pronounce people's names properly. So that's a really good question, Maya. Well
Also,
done for
my
asking.
other question is, can you come here again one time?
I mean, with pleasure. If the invitation is there, I'll come. I promise.
Really?
I promise.
Yeah. Well, you will be more than welcome to join us again. At any time.
I had a blast. You guys are good. You guys are asking all the tough questions, and if you ever get a politician knocking at your door, you better do the exact same thing. Make them care. Make them care about what you think, what you believe, what you think is important, because your voice, that is the most powerful tool. Never forget it. Never forget to use your voice.
Your
Because
voice
you have a lot to say.
hurtful sometimes, though.
I mean, if you have opinions, you should always, you live in a country that is where you can freely express what you believe.
Yeah.
And your questions were great. They were not out of line. I honestly, I'm shocked by your level of understanding of what's going on. It's great. You guys,
Yeah,
you guys are gonna do great in the future.
I
Sure.
also wanted to say, I actually sent a message to Trudeau about that Indigenous thing, and I actually got a message from him, but I know it wasn't him who actually sent it. It was his secretary, right? It's a secretary.
Well, just for context for everyone else in the group, when the bodies of the Indigenous children were found at Kamloops, Maya wrote to Justin Trudeau to ask what he was doing about truth and reconciliation, and she got a reply. That's great, Maya, and I'm so proud of you for using your voice and yeah, challenging these politicians. They represent you, so don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid to challenge and talk about the things that you know about which you are passionate yourselves. Good. Great. Well, I think it's time for us all to say a massive thank you. It's been such an informative session, and I'm delighted that you can come back and teach this lot anytime.
Thanks for having me. I had a blast. Honestly, I did not know what to expect, in the sense that I didn't want it to be. I want it to be natural, like having a conversation, and it's great. Like I really enjoy talking to you guys. You're a fun group. I hope we get to do it again soon. And I will poke you on that, Sam. That I pledge. Had a blast. All the best to you kids. You will see me again. That I promise.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.